out of the blue on a Friday afternoon, my husband and I were hit by a drunk driver in a car crash. And it was a moment of truth, really. And we survived. It was a miracle that we survived. It was a long healing road back. And talk about an opportunity to deepen in our faith and trust that everything that happens in life has a reason. As we healed over about 4 months, I just kept putting off this idea. And my sister kept saying, I'm ready when you are. I'm ready when you are. And I had one more doctor's appointment to deal with one more sort of the new normal. And I came away and I realized this is not the dress rehearsal. And there's no 100% guarantees in life. And so if not now, when?
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming back to the 5 Flavors of Happiness. I am so excited about today's conversation. I'm excited that our tech is working, that we are here. One day, guys, I'm going to have a producer and I'm not going to have these issues. But until then, thank you so much for being patient with me. I have with us Marea Kavanagh. She is the co-founder. She's the visionary behind Camp Joy Retreats. These are sacred spaces, I'm going to say. They are just for women. They are a place where you can come, you can get away from all the noise, you can find your tribe, your sisterhood, and you can heal. So, today's conversation, we're going to talk community. We're going to talk about finding inner joy, not the slogan kind, guys, the stuff on posters. We're going to talk the real stuff, the deep stuff. And we're going to talk about what it means and what happens to us when we give ourselves just a minute to pause. Marea, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Susan. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, I am so grateful for you for being patient with me. Guys, so we tried to have this conversation yesterday and it did not work because of me and my tech issues. So I am so grateful for Marea's patience. But first, I want to ask you the most basic question. How did it all begin?
Well, I think about this journey, and it has been years in the making, if I'm honest. A couple of foundational things. One, I just love to travel. I think it's in our genetic pool. We are a family of travelers, and I am never happier than when I'm either traveling and even planning vacations and trips. That's really something that's deep to my heart. Also, that 20 years ago or 24 years ago now, our first son was born with some pretty significant special needs and medical complexities. And the way to survive those hardships or this reality is for us to grow. And that was something I realized very early on. I wanted to deal with parenting in this profound way from my heart and with grace. And so it's been a journey. And so I've been on my own spiritual journey for 20 odd years that has sort of deepened in the last 7 years, I would say. And so 2024, I was looking around at some of these new retreats that were popping up on social media for women. And I'm thinking, I need to do this. And it's been a long time dream of mine to start to share some of the growth and some of the experiences I have had over the years. And my sister had left a corporate career and was a consultant in Toronto. And we were starting to talk about this idea of what would it look like. And out of the blue on a Friday afternoon, my husband and I were hit by a drunk driver in a car crash. And it was a moment of truth, really. And we survived. It was a miracle that we survived. It was a long healing road back. And talk about an opportunity to deepen in our faith and trust that everything that happens in life has a reason. As we healed over about 4 months, I just kept putting off this idea. And my sister kept saying, I'm ready when you are. I'm ready when you are. And I had one more doctor's appointment to deal with one more sort of the new normal. And I came away and I realized this is not the dress rehearsal. And there's no 100% guarantees in life. And so if not now, when? And so I got on the phone. I phoned my sister. I said, let's go. Camp Joy. Let's make it happen. And so we were so excited to offer 2 beautiful retreats in 2025, and we just made it happen. That's how Camp Joy came to be. This is not the dress
Wow.
rehearsal.
I love that. And it's not. It's
No,
either we do
no.
it or you don't.
Yeah.
So I
And
just
it's
I
never a
love the
good
fact that you
time,
did
right?
it.
Thank you. Yeah.
You have to start even when it's messy
Yeah.
and you're not prepared.
Mhm.
I love the fact that you like to travel because I feel like I've traveled a lot, and I feel like every time I travel and I move somewhere, I learn so much about myself. I feel like it's like this uncovering, pulling back the layers to figure out like who you are when you're outside of your comfort zone, outside of being around the people that you're used to or the streets that you grew up on. It's such a learning journey. But I want to talk to you about, I mean, it's called Camp Joy. So let's talk about joy. To me, joy and happiness, it's all interchangeable. So now you have a new normal. Now you are an entrepreneur. You have this beautiful business that helps so many people. So how has happiness or joy, how has it changed and morphed for you throughout your journey?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it certainly has. And it wasn't that long ago where I honestly could have said that my joy was conditional on everything being okay in my life. When my son was healthy and not having 10 seizures a day, but only 1 seizure a week, I could manage. When I had support around to help, I was okay. And so at a certain point, and in my journey in the last probably 4 or 5 years, I came to this understanding that like it's what's going on inside me. It's my own connection to my heart, to joy, to love, and joy I would say is gratitude, appreciation. That of course stuff's going to happen in life, but can I keep coming back to this place in my heart that anchors me in something real? And it doesn't have to be conditional on the environment and what's happening around me. So I think that's what's changed for me. I'm profoundly different, I would say, when this hit home. And I still slide, of course. We're human, right? We're here
Sure.
for a human experience. That's what we do.
Right.
It's how we learn. And then the question is always, is how long am I going to let this take me out before I, come back to myself? And it's about self-compassion too, right? Just being gentle
Yeah.
with ourselves and tender when things are hard. So,
And they do get hard. And it's
yes.
sometimes it's hard to practice gratitude when it's hard and you feel like it's forced. But I want to talk to you about the guests your guests that come to Camp Joy. Like, what have you seen? Tell me about the transformations. What is it like for people?
So we've had really the most remarkable spectrum of women. We've had the youngest camper at Camp Joy is 22, and the eldest is 77, and all together, and this beautiful range of women from different periods in life and places in the world is really special. Some of them are coming because they have read about the Inner Joy program, and that's what they really want to experience, and they're already on their journey. Others wanted to come to a beautiful place because it is joyful. When you show up at this incredible villa that is like something out of a movie, and you have space in your day to eat the most delicious food made with love and look out on the most beautiful views, and everything around you is beautiful, it's very easy to be joyful, right? And so some women
Sure.
are coming for the experience, the culture, and the adventure, and so it does vary. What happens though, I think, as we start to sit in these Inner Joy programs, we all sit around a table and we go through a process every day. There's music, there is a guided meditation by me, and we have different topics that we address each day. And then there's chances for journaling and some pretty powerful journal prompts. And then we share. And again, it's all optional, right? Not everyone comes to every Inner Joy workshop. It's just what some women need to sleep in, and go for a walk down the lane. It just depends. But when the group comes together like this, and then somebody takes risk, that
Yeah.
moment, and allows themselves to be vulnerable and share something big that maybe no one has ever known before. They've never told anyone, or they've been dealing with for years and it just isn't moving. Something happens, and for women too, right? We so easily feel for others way more than we feel for ourselves. We connect to others and
We
through
are
our hearts.
empathetic.
Right. And
We are.
so this heart opening starts and it connects women. So there's no small talk. We just get right to it, in the first 24 hours. And then, you've got the naughty ones stay up till 2 a.m. Doing their own thing and connecting yet more. And so women change because two things: A, the connection, and then that opportunity to then bring that love we so easily feel for others to ourselves. And I don't know about you, but like that notion of loving myself, that has something that has not come naturally to me. And it's been my work. And so it's joyful. And it takes a journey. And just to have that space at a Camp Joy retreat to do that is really, I think, part of the magic.
That sounds so beautiful. So
Yeah.
people must cry, right? There's probably a lot of tears.
Yes.
I was gonna say,
absolutely. Yeah.
Kleenex.
So, absolutely. 2 boxes. Absolutely. Yeah. And again, not everyone. It's some women just witnessed, and even in the witnessing, something deeply shifted for them, and so it just depends. But we've had women, reverse high blood pressure. We've had women go home and just kind of kickstart their life, and all of a sudden they're on a dating app again for the first time in over 20 years and starting to move. And the other thing that's beautiful is that we're not there yet in terms of a whole platform, but we stay connected on our WhatsApp groups, and these women they call each other sisters, and are really in each other's lives now. We've had one woman from Toronto visited another camper from Cincinnati a few months ago, I guess, and they went and got tattoos together with hearts, the Camp Joy hearts.
That's so awesome.
Fun. So deep friendships can come out of it too. Yeah.
I just love that so much. I love that for you. I love that for us, that we have this space. But now I want to talk to you about, so not everybody is going to be able to get to one of these retreats.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's time constraints, family obligations, or money. So is there anything that you could, I love when people have takeaways. Is there any takeaway that somebody could have from watching this video that they can go home and do right now, that you can give them some tips, some ideas on how to do it at home if they can't be with you and do it in person?
Yeah. So this notion of connecting to our hearts is really big, and there's science now backing this. They're studying the heart, and the heart is the most powerful generator of energy in our bodies, and it's our second brain, and it connects to our brain. And when the brain and the heart energies connect, they call it heart-brain coherence. And what that means is our bodies start to make a coherent energetic field. So there's science on that. You can look at heart math to kind of get some read up on what they're doing in the Heart Math Institute. It's really powerful. When we just take a moment, take a deep breath, maybe close our eyes, and maybe place our hands over our heart and just start to breathe into that space. Something with practice, doesn't always happen immediately, something starts to shift in us, and we're so busy in our lives. And how often do we take a moment in our day just to sit and breathe with our hand over our heart? Right. So that's a really small thing that we can do, and especially if we put that with a feeling or in a thought of something that we're grateful for, something that we love, something that gives us a warm fuzzy feeling, a puppy, a flower, a person, a vacation that's coming up. And then for me, I'm doing that throughout my day. And then the other thing, I just love music. Music just gets me going, right? I call it my spirit music. my teenage daughter isn't as impressed with it as I am, but I love it. I love it. And it reminds me somehow, it connects something deep within me. So I'm happy to share a few of my favorites with you at some point if you want to, I'll share it with you. But the songs are beautiful. There's so much beautiful music out there, and it's not religious per se, but it's spiritual, and it's about us growing and about our hearts, and that really is very helpful for me.
It's so funny because when you were talking, I was just like nodding, like, yes, I get it, because it's part of the 5 flavors, guys. Savor is when you just savor the moment, and you just say like right now, I'm just savoring being here with you because this is so cool. And I just love this. Beautiful. And I'm just like, I'm so happy to be totally present right now. And the music is one of the things for flow. It helps you. So I do art and design, guys, for a living, and I put on music in the background, and it just helps me go into that space where time just goes away, and it just helps you just feel connected with source, with God, with whatever you want to call it. It's okay, whatever that is for you, that divine presence. And so I get it. I feel that as well. How cool is that we're so connected?
It's beautiful. And when you were talking, I love your 5 flavors, by the way, and they
thank
all
you.
resonate so deeply with me as well. What a gift. And when you talk about savor, I'm reminded that when I was in my late teens, my mother gave me a novel called The Shell Seekers by a woman called Rosamund Pilcher, and she's no longer with us. She was prolific in the 80s and 90s, and she wrote novels set in the English countryside, and families, and they're dated today, but she had this knack of creating moments where blustery, walks on the moors in the wind and the rain, and then coming home and taking off the welly boots and sitting in front of a crackling fire with a hot cup of tea and the scones and the dogs in the front of the fire, and just creating moments. And at a certain point a few years ago, I thought, I can create Rosamund Pilcher moments in my life. Like just make a cup of tea and put it in a beautiful cup and sit there and savor it. Or whatever. And what I love, it makes it really easy at Camp Joy because everything's beautiful. And there's so many little details, right? But we can do that in our own lives.
And we can, even when we don't have that, like you're saying, that luxurious place. Because for Christmas, oh my God, you should see how I decorate. I go crazy. I do it. And I do it with the lights because I just feel like lighting is an underrated thing to make a space gorgeous. Agreed. And you have beautiful light, and you could sit with a hot cocoa, and it doesn't cost anything, and you could just feel so luxurious and like you're living in a movie, in the moment.
Just for a moment.
Awesome. So guys, tip, savor the moment. Savor it. It's cheap. It's a cup of tea or hot cocoa or coffee or whatever it is that makes you happy. So that's so cool. So what's next? What's next for Camp Joy? Tell me.
Right. So we've had we had 2 retreats in 2025, which were both magical, and so we have 5 retreats coming up, which is really exciting.
5 Where? What places?
Right. So we're off to Zihuatanejo on the Pacific coast of Mexico at the end of February, which is so beautiful. We call it Ziwa. It's sort of our family's happy place. We've been going there for years, and it's a really special spot in Mexico. It's safe. It's a fishing town. It's growing because lots of young Mexicans are moving there because it's a good place to raise their kids. Awesome. And it's just charming. Anyway, and then we're heading to Bald Head Island, North Carolina at the end of April.
Yeah, we're going to be close to home.
Close to home. We're going to try that out. And then off to the Cotswolds in early June, and then straight to Cotignac in the south of France, which is just about an hour away from Aix-en-Provence.
My God.
I know. June's going to be massive.
Oh my God.
I know. Can't believe it.
And do you have local chefs?
Yeah. So yes, we do. Always. We were so excited to connect with Doug Eglin in Manerbe last September, and we'll be seeing them again this year in our French retreats. And they really have become partners for us. They're wonderful chefs. They cater to celebrities at a recording studio in Cérémy de Provence, which is really exciting. So they love food. They love people. They love Camp Joy, and they're just a real joyful presence in the retreats. So, and then at the other retreats, yeah, we have chefs we bring in, and they're always cooking with local products and fresh and what is of the place. So it's delicious. Yeah. We also
My
have in our
God.
French retreats, and we're trying to figure out how to involve her more, but Anastasia is our wine curator. And so she is a sommelier, and she lives also in Montpellier in the south of France. And so she joins us and curates the wine selections. We have tastings. She'll make a daily special champagne cocktail of some sort, and is really introducing us all to, what the wines of the region are. And it's really beautiful. It's good fun.
Oh my God.
I
This
know.
sounds amazing. I want to
Yeah.
go. I feel like when you have the food of a culture, it's
Mm.
like you have the heart and soul of a culture, you know?
Oh, yes, I do know. Yes, so that's, and the colors and the flavors, and there's something about food when it's made with so much love. Like, we had a
Yes.
beautiful couple last year prepare our meals in Cotignac, and they are a young couple, and I can remember challenging or questioning the price of the roast chicken with a salad for lunch, and I said, "That's a lot of money for a roast chicken, you know." And he said, "Yes, but you can't expect me to get a chicken from the grocery store. Those aren't real chickens. These chickens come from the farm of my friend down the road." And it was a several minutes of why this was special. And so, yeah, the French are passionate about their food, which I love. It's beautiful.
God, passion for anything is so beautiful, right?
Yeah, you're
When
so
you
right.
see people's passion, and I
Mhm.
feel like when you see someone's passion, you see their soul. You see who they really are. Like, I see your passion right now for Camp Joy, and it's so beautiful. But like, I love looking at artists too. When you see sculptors and potters, and you're like, oh, that's your soul. That's who you are. So let me ask you one last question, because I'm very into Camp Joy. It's just so cool. Do you feel like this is your purpose?
Yes. Yes. One of your flavors is flow.
Yeah.
And I can honestly, like, personally speaking, this is truly the first time in my professional life I've ever I've ever experienced true flow. When I'm in these retreats and after the retreats, it just feels like my truth. I am so moved by what happens. And Monique and I look at each other sometimes and think, did you ever think it would be like this? Like, beyond our wildest dreams is how it
God, I
feels.
love that.
And I feel so grateful to actually know what that creative flow that an artist feels.
Yes.
You're so right. And
Right.
I'm sure you feel that doing with your podcasts and your 5 flavors of happiness. It's the same. It's like your truth. So yeah.
Do you
I don't know
ever
if I answered your
find
question, but yeah.
No, you totally did. Do you ever find that who you are becoming, right? Because I feel like we're on a journey, we're all becoming, and like by you doing this, you're becoming this other grounded, or you're becoming your true self, maybe. But we're on this journey. Do you feel like other people or other distractions are kind of going away to make room for this person that you are letting come out? I'm going to say letting come out because I feel like she's always been there, and maybe we just kept her in a bubble and now we're allowing her to bloom.
Yeah, I feel like I am having the opportunity to bloom. That's so true. And I feel like the universe is helping. I remember the beginning of 2024, I make a white stone every year with my word for the year, an intention for the year. And I actually put freedom on that stone. I could get teary talking about it, but because at that moment in time, I had no idea how, because I was missing traveling, vacations are one thing, but I was walking around the house talking French, saying, I wish I could go to France.
I love that.
And, being the primary caregiver, we're so blessed. We do have, he has beautiful, wonderful people in his life who help.
That's wonderful.
As his friends and caregivers and helpers. But I couldn't, to leave for any period of time is immense. And there wasn't space really for that. So I didn't know how freedom was going to happen. And it's funny how the universe does work, because out of that came the opportunity that some people into his life where he has more help and more care, and he's able to, and he loves it. He's found his village, his people. And
That's
so
awesome.
through that, I have space to create in this way, which is really exciting. So yes, I do feel. And if you could have seen me running through Dallas airport with a, 35-minute connection, trying to get everybody through security. And we were with a young woman who was one of Josh's caregivers, and she came to Camp Joy with our caregiver grant program. And she's being silly and she's recording it all. And she's saying things like, I'm walking through the airport with joy in my heart, and no, let's go, people. There was no joy in my heart on that particular moment.
I love that.
Like, no,
No time for joy.
me.
Come on, hurry up.
And there she was having, rubbing it in my face. All that she learned at Camp Joy, but I was not there in that moment. So yeah.
But I feel like there's synchronicities, right?
Yeah, big.
In the universe, when you're on your true path, like you put the freedom out, all of a sudden you got these amazing caregivers that gave you what you needed. Like it was all synchronistic. It was all meant to be. It's like the universe said, I hear you, I see you, and now I'm going to give it to you. God, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and it was, there were actually, so the other thing that happened last year, my sister in Toronto had been primary caregiver for our mom who had dementia, and it was frontal temporal lobe dementia. It was a lot. And my mom was in a care home, but my sister was her main primary person. Like, talk about bizarre synchronicities. The day after the accident, my sister got to Duke Hospital where we were, and within an hour we got the call that our mom had passed.
Oh,
and so it was big, right? And it took me, it was sort of 6 months before I could even unpack that, quite honestly. I was so preoccupied with healing. But that freed her up because she also couldn't leave for any period of time. And so it is bizarre how the world, and I don't know what her angel self knew or, but it was a blessing for her because she was no longer suffering. And yeah, strange. But
so you say angel self. I really like that. What does that mean?
I think I think our souls and our truth is love, and everything else is what we think is real, but it's not our truth. And so while she suffered immensely in the last years of her life, and it was really difficult to bear witness to, I really feel that her angel self is free, and free of all of the restrictions and the pain and the suffering that she went through. And it took for her, she had to let go of her physical expression for that to happen.
And imagine, like, without that experience, though, you wouldn't have learned and grown so much. Like, I feel like I've been looking back on my life a lot. I do this all the time.
Especially now in the beginning of the year, yeah.
Right? And I think, like, where am I now versus where was I? And a lot of times I would be, like, angry. Why didn't this happen? Why didn't that happen? And then I think, I'm glad I'm at the point now that I'm able to say, I'm glad it didn't happen, because I grew so much, even though while I was going through it, let me tell you, I was mad as a hornet. Now I'm so much more grounded because I feel like, okay, you've been through stuff. So now you could talk to people and you could be a little bit wiser or a little bit more empathetic or a little bit more caring. So I kind of feel like it was almost weird that, I don't want to say I'm happy that happened to your poor mom, but it was such a learning for you and for your family, right?
Absolutely. On so many levels, just to, yes, like the day to day with her was a learning, of, and yeah, she was a teacher of the highest order. as is our son. And I totally agree with you. We learn and again, that's a choice because I wasn't always there. I was really taken out like about 8 years ago now. I got really sick with a chronic illness because I was taking everything on, right? I was,
Right.
and I didn't know that. I was really kind of victim to my circumstances and exhausted. And I think, we just go and we go and we go. And I think men have the same experience, but women really we stretch ourselves and we have a tendency towards pleasing. We have a tendency towards saying yes when we really want to say no. All these things, and the body can only take so much. And for me, it was that moment too. That's when I really realized I needed to deepen any spiritual practice I had, and yeah, and that's kind of where it started. So, out of the hard stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the hard stuff. The hard stuff are teachers, which is nobody wants to learn, but wow, when we do and we're open to it, it's amazing how we grow. Oh my God, Maria, I could talk to you forever. Thank you so much. And guys, in the description below is going to be the link to Camp Joy retreats so that you can go and meet Marea in person and go to one of these amazing retreats that she has coming up in 2026. You've got to go. And thank you, Marea, so much for your time.
Thank you, Susan. It was a pleasure. I love talking with you too.
Awesome. And guys, please like and subscribe this video. And remember, you are not late. You are becoming.